Hey guys, welcome back to Scanline City. Today we are going to talk about the Hori Fighting Stick series. This is definitely a hidden gem as far as I'm concerned, so let's dig in. Fight! Alright guys, so the Hori Fighting Stick series, specifically those released for the Neo Geo, PCEngine, Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, and Sony PlayStation. These are what I consider to be the best of the Hori Fighting Stick series. Now there were other multi-system models like the Fighting Stick Multi and the Fighting Stick Dual, but if you ask me, those aren't really the same design and I don't recommend them nearly as highly as I do these ones. Let's start with the Fighting Stick Neo and Fighting Stick Neo 2 for the Neo Geo AES. The Fighting Stick Neo and the Fighting Stick Neo 2 are excellent for any Neo Geo AES or even a Super Gun. Anything that uses a DB15 controller, honestly. Has that 4-button layout that's just pure arcade bliss, and the metal top plate just feels super solid, really strong structure, no flex at all, and it's just super comfortable due to the buttons being mounted really high up on the platform. I really like it. This is my go-to stick for a lot of beat 'em ups. And for all you gamers who love turbo, you got turbo switches built in on both models. The primary buttons on both are that gray and black design. It seems to be a little lighter of a color on the original Neo for the gray and a little darker on the Neo 2, but they feel very much like those flatter Samitsu-like buttons. Really great. My only complaint is that the top plates don't seem to be very durable. So if you go and look on eBay, you will find a ton of these with cracks coming up from the corners. It must be something to do with the material. Mine happen to be in really good shape, but it's hard to find these in that good of shape. Now, if that doesn't really bother you, then don't worry about it because these things rock just the same. So maybe the Neo Geo isn't really your thing. Well, let's check out the Super Nintendo and PCEngine. All right, the PCEngine and Super Nintendo version. Now, these are basically the same thing, so I'm grouping them together. There's only a few small differences. Let's start out by saying that you are very limited in terms of quality arcade sticks when it comes to these consoles. However, they both have fantastic libraries that are great to play with arcade sticks. These are an excellent option for either console, the best as far as I'm concerned when it comes to being period correct. Compared to the Neo and Neo 2, they do seem to have a little bit more flex, and that's because the Neo and Neo 2 had that solid top plate that sat on top of plastic, and this has the components cut directly into that single layer of sheet metal that they're using. Now the layout on these guys I love because it has a 6-button design, has a lot of spacing between the joystick and the buttons, and I think you guys all know this is my favorite kind of layout. Very similar to like the Agitech. The cool thing is that these joysticks are mounted directly to the top plate with the bolts exposed, so it's actually really easy to just take out this joystick and maybe put in a different joystick that you prefer. The buttons, I'm pretty sure, are the exact same buttons you get on the Neo 2. Those are easy to take out. You already have turbo switches, so really this is a great stick for you guys out there who want something that is retro, collectible, yet user-friendly and even upgradable. The top panel seems to be far more resistant to wear and tear. It's a little more textured than the Neo and Neo 2. But the crazy thing is that disease that the Neo 1 and Neo 2 had of that cracking on the top panel, it seems to have a different disease on these guys on the sides. I mean, you cannot find these two models with sides that look good. I'm telling you, like I get them new out of the box and they still look like crap on the sides. Okay, so we took one step forward, maybe 2 steps back, or somewhere in between, but now we have the PS1 and the Sega Saturn, so let's see what they did there. Okay, the Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 versions. Once again, I'm grouping these together because they're basically identical. In fact, the only difference in terms of design is that the PlayStation version has a start and select button, and the Sega Saturn stick only has a start button, and that's because it matches their controllers. I mean, the bodies basically are the Neo 1 and Neo 2. It's like they went full circle, right? So that's great. They're very solid. It's easier to find these ones in better condition than the Neo 1 and Neo 2. So maybe they did something with the top plate material. And because it doesn't have that exposed metal sidings, you don't have that rust problem. They both feature an 8-button layout with the L1 and L2 equivalents on the inside of the stick, which was pretty common for a lot of those older style sticks like the Konami Hyper Stick and some of the older Hori Real Arcade Pros. But that layout is fantastic, and I've talked about this because, again, for me, who likes a lot of spacing between the joystick and the start of the buttons, and you're playing on these primarily, right? So you have that spacing. And if you want to play something like a 4-button game, you have a really great layout for that as well. So I really like those. Once again, the parts are decent, but I will say that the buttons certainly feel like a downgrade from the previous generations. Sadly, for the PlayStation, Saturn, and the Neos, you have a lot less room, so mounting a joystick is really difficult until now. I recently discovered a joystick that really takes these sticks from a B to an A. This is my Fighting Stick Neo, modded with a Samitsu Kai joystick lever and Samitsu buttons. I've also added new start and select buttons because the previous ones were broken, and I think it all comes together so nicely. Now, the Samitsu Kai is specifically designed for shallow bodies like the Hori fighting sticks, and even something like the Namco PS1 stick. Especially for the size, this joystick lever is fantastic. It feels like the same quality you would expect from any Samitsu lever. And the best part is that it will save you that aggravation that many times modders have when you have to work on a smaller case stick where you have to like Dremel out or carve out plastic out of the stick. I mean, nobody wants to do that. You want to leave these sticks as close to stock as you can get them, bringing the best features out of them. So there you have it, guys, the Hori Fighting Stick series. All of these are good sticks, but with a little bit of modding, you can make them excellent. Let me know if you want to see a mod video on these. I mean, I really enjoyed doing this Neo, and I can certainly do other ones. Big thank you to all my subscribers out there. Thanks for sticking with me. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Keep a lookout for the Hori Fighting Stick series, guys. There's a lot of hidden gems in there, so I'll see you on the next one.